Part 53. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 521. Each of them is extraordinary, obviously they are all strong. I will not elaborate on the purpose of everyone coming to the super galaxy cluster. We will set off for the Great Wall tomorrow. Today, I will first explain to everyone that this trip to the Great Wall is definitely not as easy as you think. You will face a life and death crisis that you cannot imagine. If anyone chooses to quit, you can stand up now. After the words fell, no one stood up. Everyone who can get here has almost fought their way out of thousands of troops. Which competition has not had people die? How could they give up because of a word of danger? Seeing this, the figure was obviously very satisfied. Very good, now, you keep this thing. This is related to whether you will gain anything from this trip to the Great Wall. As he said, one by one, the objects wrapped in light appeared in everyone's hands. Lu Yu looked at the object that floated into his hand, and his pupils shrank. This is Chapter 0395, Pushing Too Far, Pick up the gun and get on the horse. This is Lu Yu looked at the object in his hand, and his pupils shrank. In his hand was a mirror. Shenxiao mirror. Looking at this mirror engraved with complex patterns, Lu Yu instantly thought of what he had taken from the God-given star before. Shenxiao mirror, something that the gods left in the God-given clan. The mirror in his hand now was a replica at first glance. A replica of Shenxiao mirror. It was not much different from the original one in his hand. The only drawback might be that it was a little small, but at least the appearance was quite exquisite. Lu Yu looked at the small mirror in his hand and couldn't help frowning. Why would the super galaxy cluster have such a thing? Being able to imitate the appearance means that at least the Shenxiao mirror has actually been seen by others. This is not an important issue. What is important is that the super galaxy cluster imitated the Shenxiao mirror and then sent the replica to people like himself. What is the purpose? Leiju, let me see your stuff. Lu Yu looked at Ahashi Leiju's artifact. It was also a mirror, exactly the same as his own. Looking at other people, the same is true. This made Lu Yu look unhappy. The Shenxiao mirror and the Great Wall both represent the Great Wall behind them. Now that the two things are connected together, Lu Yu always has a bad feeling. Others didn't think so much, and Daqiao Leiju looked puzzled. Lu Yu, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Lu Yu shook his head. Yu Yu came up again and looked around with the mirror. Who is in the mirror? Too handsome. Yu Yu was amazed. Lu Yu couldn't help but look back, and his eyelids twitched immediately. This guy was looking at himself in the mirror while playing with his hair. Seeing Lu Yu looking at him, he shook his chicken hair with an arrogant expression. Brother Lu, are you jealous of my thick hair? I'm quite jealous. Green is very pleasing to the eye. That's not the case. If you want to live a decent life, you must have some green on your head. Yu Yu gave Lu Yu a thumbs up, with a look of approval. It's been a long time since anyone understood me like this. You are worthy of being my confidant. Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu, who was holding his collar and shaking him, and sighed more and more in his heart. What kind of galaxy can cultivate such a Wolong? But looking at the other people in their galaxy, it's quite normal. Lu Yu looked at the other people in the Tianyu galaxy. At this time, the voice in the middle of the square spoke again. Very good, obviously everyone should have got the things. As soon as this voice came out, Lu Yu immediately focused his attention. It is impossible that the super galaxy cluster distributed this artifact for no reason. I want to know what the real purpose is. What you have in your hand is a mirror, there is no need to say more about this. Its function is very simple. Wear it on your body and it will save your life at a critical moment. It's that simple. When the words came, everyone had an expression of sudden enlightenment, only Lu Yu was surprised. What nonsense are you talking about? This thing contains power and can save a life? Similar to a forbidden weapon? But why must it be made into the shape of a divine mirror? It's definitely not that simple. Lu Yu tried to see something from the figure's expression. But the figure was bathed in light, and he couldn't see anything clearly. And on the periphery of the square, countless spectators looked down. Lu Yu saw excitement and joy on their faces. This. Any other questions? If not, you can disband now. The figure spoke, but no one spoke. Just as he was about to leave, Lu Yu stood up. My lord, I have something I don't understand. Speak. The figure looked at Lu Yu. In an instant, Lu Yu had a feeling of being seen through. A terrible pressure enveloped him. But Lu Yu didn't hide or avoid, and looked over. My lord, I'm curious, what exactly are we going to do at the Great Wall this time? What exactly are we going to do? This matter has never been said from the beginning. Lu Yu originally thought that when he got here, he should tell him something. But strangely, nothing was said. Others also looked at the figure after hearing Lu Yu's words. Others were also curious about what they were going to do at the Great Wall. Some people were puzzled before, but no one showed up. Now that Lu Yu showed up, everyone naturally wanted to listen. After hearing this, the figure was silent for more than 10 seconds and looked at Lu Yu again. You don't need to worry about this matter. You will naturally understand it when you get there. After saying that, he disappeared. Nothing was said. Lu Yu frowned slightly. Others were also confused, but they didn't think much about it and left towards the exit one after another. Lu Yu stood there without moving, and the others didn't move either. Dakiao Leiju looked at Lu Yu with a puzzled look. Lu Yu, what's wrong? Seeing the puzzled eyes of his teammates, Lu Yu suppressed his thoughts and shook his head. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 522. It's nothing, go back. With that said, Lu Yu led everyone towards the exit. Seeing this scene, although others had many doubts, they still followed. Half an hour later, Lu Yu returned to the villa. Accompanying us are Dakiao Leiju. Lu Yu, aren't you going to say anything? Ahashi Reika pulled his collar and leaned against the door. Seeing this, Lu Yu was completely uninterested. Let's talk tomorrow. I am very annoyed now and need to clear my mind. How can I be in the mood to do anything else? When Ahashi Reika heard this, he immediately laughed. Lu Yu, you're lying. You just don't like women, right? I like women. Then do it. Ahashi Reika said, taking a step forward. When Lu Yu saw this, his eyes narrowed in a dangerous arc. The force is too much, the force is overwhelming. Can you still bear it? I can't bear it anymore. It seems that I have to let you know how powerful I am. Lu Yu directly pressed Dakiao Leiju against the door. After seeing this for a long time, Dakiao's beautiful eyes widened. Don't tell me, are you serious about coming? What you think? Lu Yu had a smile on his face. Dakiao was a little panicked for a moment. I just wanted to tease Lu Yu for fun. Is this guy Lu Yu really intolerable? She wanted to escape, but how could Lu Yu give her a chance? Good guy, you made me angry. Why don't you do it if you don't want to? Just when Lu Yu was about to raise his gun and mount his horse, suddenly, a colorful head appeared. Lu, huh? Yu was shocked, looking at Lu Yu who was pressing on Dakiao Leiju, he was shocked. Lu Yu, are you actually this kind of person? Yu couldn't help but took 2 steps back and bumped against the door. Damn it, I saw something I shouldn't have seen, will I be killed and silenced? No, I want to run. With that said, Yu turned around and was about to run away. Lu Yu knocked him down with one kick. Looking at Yu Yu, who huddled up into a ball, he was a little silent. He didn't say anything, but this guy had already written a 10 million word novel in his head. What are you here for? I came to find you. Yu Yu carefully looked at the bridge behind him. I didn't expect it. Lu Yu, you can eat both men and women. The key is that you are not picky about food. Reiku Ahashi? What do you mean? Call me ugly. Ahashi Reiku also gave Yu Yu a kick. Yu Yu rubbed his face and shook his head seriously. No, I'm not talking about you, I mean, Lu Yu doesn't deserve it. Bang. In an instant, Yu Yu received another kick. I'm not worthy, is that okay? Seeing this, Lu Yu was finally a little satisfied, but he was still unhappy inside. We almost did it, what are you doing here? What on earth are you here for? Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu. Chapter 0396. This is so cool, the Universe Zero Association. I'll hum you. Snap. Yu Yu was whipped away. Speak nicely, Lu Yu said. Yu Yu covered his face with resentment. Didn't I tell you before that there was a fun place? I went to look for you to play, and I saw the scene I just saw. But don't worry, I'm leaving now and I'll come back after you finish playing. With that said, Yu Yu turned around and left. Etc. As soon as Lu Yu finished speaking, Yu Yu ran away. You want to kill people and silence them? This is impossible. Looking at Yu Yu, who turned into green light and disappeared, Lu Yu held his forehead. Dakiao Leiju hugged Lu Yu from the back door. Continue. You don't want it? I just suddenly fell in love with that feeling. Ahashi Reiku blushed with embarrassment. Lu Yu. I'm afraid this girl has some special hobbies. Forget it, I'm not interested now. Reiku Ahashi? Okay, don't you recognize anyone after eating everything? Ahashi glared angrily. Hearing this, Lu Yu frowned. I didn't eat you either. You ate. Okay, then get out. Lu Yu kicked Dakiao Leiju away. Looking at the closed door, Dakiao Leiju was heartbroken. You damn scumbag, just throw it away after you're done playing. Sorry, I'm not a scumbag, but my heart was broken into many pieces and I fell in love with different people. Isn't this scum? Yu Yu didn't know when he appeared again, his whole body covered in green. Ahashi Reiku was confused. Why are you back again? I just ran around the city. I don't want to continue. I haven't successfully clocked in today. With that said, Yu Yu turned into green light and disappeared. In the villa, Lu Yu finally calmed down. Looking at the imitation Shenxiao mirror in his hand, he thought for a long time, checked it repeatedly, and after making sure no one was prying, he called Teacher Kang over. Teacher Kang, can you satisfy me? Lu Yu looked serious. Master, Teacher Kang will meet all your requirements. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 523. Very good, draw the curtains, lock the door, and turn off the lights. Executing. The next moment, the curtains, doors, and lights were all turned off. Lu Yu's eyes glowed in the darkness. Very good, baby, let's do the last step now, turn off the computer. Okay, Teacher Kang has, sorry, Master, I can't turn it off. Did you find out the flaw after all? Lu Yu sighed, sorry, I can't let this secret out. Lu Yu ruthlessly unplugged Teacher Kang's power supply. With a flash of light, the whole villa fell into darkness. Lu Yu checked again, and after making sure that no one was spying, he took out the Shenxiao mirror from the system space. As soon as the Shenxiao mirror appeared, it was surrounded by a faint light. The mirror was like water, reflecting Lu Yu's face. After seeing himself in the mirror, Lu Yu was stunned and couldn't help looking around. Half an hour later, Lu Yu put down the mirror. No, the person in the mirror is too handsome. If I look at him again, I'm afraid that it will affect my thinking. As he said this, Lu Yu fell into deep thought again. Why does the superclusters do this? Thinking about it, Lu Yu couldn't help looking at the mirror again. Damn, this is too handsome, who is so handsome? Lu Yu looked at the mirror again, and another hour passed. Forcibly controlling his hands, Lu Yu put down the Shenxiao mirror, closed his eyes and didn't look, and continued to think about the problem. Why is this? What is the shocking secret behind it? Unable to help it, Lu Yu opened his eyes slightly and looked at the mirror. Nima. Who is it? So handsome, this is simply unjust. 2 hours later, Lu Yu decisively put the Shenxiao mirror into the system space. It's worthy of being a mirror left by the gods. It's too scary. It can actually transform into a super handsome guy, confusing the mind, scary. Lu Yu shook his head with an ugly face. The person in the mirror is too threatening to his status and appearance. Can't look at it, the more I look at it, the more troubled I am. Without the mirror, Lu Yu suddenly felt that his heart was as clear as a mirror. Wait, a heart as clear as a mirror? Damn, why is there such a handsome man in the world? Lu Yu roared. At this time, the door rang. Who? Me. Who are you? I am me, a different smoke. Bang. Lu Yu opened the door and kicked out. Yu Yu slowly lay down and looked at Lu Yu. Lu Yu, why did you kick me again? I want to kick. Oh, kick me, kick my back, I feel a little uncomfortable recently. What are you doing here? Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu. Yu Yu had a surprised expression on his face. Didn't I say I would take you to play? Let's go. Lu Yu walked out of the villa. Yu Yu rubbed his hands. Don't you ask where I'm taking you. The world is so big, where can't you go? Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu. When Yu Yu heard this, he immediately gave a thumbs up. As expected of a phoenix chick, you can tell whether there is something or not as soon as you open your mouth. You too, Wolong. That's not it? Just like that, the two of them headed towards the interior of Superstar City. An hour later, Lu Yu looked at a street sign hanging above his head, his eyelids twitching wildly. Is this the fun place you said? Lu Yu's face was full of question marks. On the street full of lights and wine, there were countless girls in cool clothes standing. Come on, handsome boy. Are you two handsome boys together? We have new girls here. Come over here. Countless women dressed in seductive clothes were throwing seductive eyes. Yu Yu smiled. Lu Yu, you don't know this. From what I know, the quality of the red light district in Superstar City is surprisingly high. Hey Lu Yu, don't hit me. Don't hit my face. I make a living with my face. It's not okay below is the key. In the end, Yu Yu followed Lu Yu with a bruised face. Lu Yu, I didn't expect you to be so upright. In fact, that was my test for you just now. Now that the assessment is over, I feel that with your character, you can join our Universe Zero Association. Yu Yu followed Lu Yu with a smile on his face. When Lu Yu heard this, he was stunned. What association? Universe Zero Association. I think it would be better to change the name. What name? Yu Yu looked curious. Fallen Girls Assistance Association, Lu Yu said. When Yu Yu heard this, he slapped his thigh immediately. That's great. I thought so too. So Lu Yu, are you going to join the association? Yu Yu stared at Lu Yu closely. When Lu Yu heard this, he smiled immediately. Is there any benefit to joining your association? Of course there are benefits. The Universe Zero Association can touch secrets that ordinary people can't imagine, involving the highest mysteries of the universe. Half of Yu Yu's face was in the light, and the other half was covered by shadows. Until Lu Yu knocked off his flashlight. "Don't play tricks on me. The Great Wall we are going to this time is one of the highest secrets of the universe." Lu Yu sneered. Yu Yu smiled and shook his head. "Lu Yu, don't worry. This trip to the Great Wall is definitely not as simple as you think." "What do you mean?" "Not many people can survive." As soon as the words fell, Yu Yu disappeared. Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu, who disappeared into the darkness, frowning. "There are not many who can survive?" Chapter 0397 Master Kinxu, someone confessed to you. Going crazy again. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 524. Lu Yu shook his head and didn't take it to heart. Yu Yu was a weird guy. He was normal just now, but he might be abnormal again soon. Without thinking too much, Lu Yu returned to his villa. Time passed, and the night passed quickly. In the morning, Lu Yu got up from the bed. After washing up, he walked out of the villa. Outside, everyone was waiting for Lu Yu to come out. Dakiao Leiju looked resentful. Lu Yu didn't even look at him. After making sure that there were no missing people, he led everyone directly to the square. In the square, geniuses from many regions have almost gathered here. Lu Yu waited quietly. Yu Yu appeared at some point. "Lu Yu, have you thought about it?" "I haven't thought about it." Yu Yu looked at Lu Yu. "Forget it, you haven't realized the seriousness of the problem yet. You will know when the time comes." Yu Yu waved his hand and left again. Dakiao Leiju came up when he saw this. "Lu Yu, what are you talking about?" "Talking about topics that only men can understand." "So?" Ahashi Leiju hasn't finished talking yet. Lu Yu is stunned. This girl is too gay. She can think about anything. Feeling heartbroken, Lu Yu focused his attention on the square. Everyone in the square has arrived. At this time, the figure appeared again. "Please be quiet." As soon as the words came out, the whole square fell silent. "Very good, now everyone is here. Now I will tell you what you need to pay attention to. This time we will go to the Great Wall through the space teleportation array. There may be some dangers on the road, please stay calm. In addition, after arriving at the Great Wall, everything you see, hear, and feel can only be your own secret. If anyone dares to leak it, the consequences will be at their own risk. Finally, I will tell you one more thing. This trip to the Great Wall is a joint effort of 20 superclusters. After arriving at the Great Wall, please do not conflict with the geniuses of other superclusters, otherwise you will also bear the consequences. These words shook the entire square. 20 superclusters? Doesn't that mean that at least 10,000 geniuses will go to the Great Wall? This number is too terrifying. Lu Yu took a deep breath. Absolutely a big deal. Scary. The shadow in the square seemed not to notice these surprises and said lightly. In addition, this is your protector this time. As soon as the words fell, a woman's figure appeared. The woman was wearing a palace robe, her face was as cold as ice, and her aura was extremely strong. Just at the moment she appeared, the whole void seemed to be in turmoil. Hello everyone, I am your protector, Kinxu. On the road, I will do my best to ensure your safety. As soon as these words came out, they attracted a lot of surprised eyes. It turned out to be Lord Kinxu. This time it's safe. Hiss. It's really a big deal. I'm afraid it will be really dangerous on the road. A strong man in the Taisha realm. There are not many in the entire super galaxy cluster. It took many days for the genius to be surprised. Lu Yu was also surprised. There was no other reason. This woman is definitely the strongest person he has ever seen. Even the figure next to him is not as good as him. And judging from the performance of others, this woman named Qingxiu seems to be very strong. Brother Lingfan, is this woman very strong? Lu Yu asked. Hearing this, Lingfan turned his head and glanced at Lu Yu. You don't know. He was a little surprised. Hearing this, Lu Yu's face was deep. Of course I know, I'm just testing you. Lingfan. Lord Qingxiu is a newly promoted Taishu strongman in the Super Galaxy Cluster. He is less than 1,000 years old and has a very strong talent. 1,000 years old? Damn. Too old. Lu Yu was surprised. Instantly, the eyes of the whole audience looked over. Including the woman in the sky, who also looked at Lu Yu. Ahem, what I want to say is that Lord Qingxiu is really amazing to enter the Taishu realm at the age of 1,000 years old. Lu Yu was excited. Everyone. The woman retracted her gaze and looked at everyone. Now you all hear the command, rest in place, and the space teleportation array will be fully charged in an hour. After the voice fell, the woman landed in the middle of the square. Now, 500 geniuses have been taken over by her. And Lu Yu was relieved. Lingfan, let me test you again, what realm is above the Tai realm? Lu Yu asked. Lingfan? You don't know. I know, let me test you again. Lingfan. It's the Taishu realm. Congratulations, you got it right. Lu Yu patted Lingfan's shoulder with a look of satisfaction. Turning his head, his expression fell into contemplation. Above the Tai realm is the Taishu realm. The palace master is in the Tai realm, and this master Qingxiu is in the Taishu realm. What realm is the domain master of this galaxy cluster in? Lu Yu was confused. I had only seen the Tai realm before, and the Taishu realm was the first time I had seen it. No need to think, it must be quite awesome. It seems that I haven't copied it for a long time. The Taishu realm, such an awesome realm, there are not many in the entire super galaxy cluster. Copy it, won't you make a fortune? Lu Yu smiled instantly. Ahashi Leiju couldn't help but step back. Lu Yu, why are your eyes glowing green and you are smiling so obscenely? Lu Yu's smile froze on his face. Boom. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 525. A crisp sound rang out from Ahashi Leiju's head. Covering his head, Ahashi Leiju's eyes were filled with tears. Lu Yu, you abused me. Lu Yu. Everyone, wow. Sure enough, I wasn't dazzled last night. Yu appeared and sighed at the right time. Others immediately looked at him. Could it be that Lu Yu and Ahashi Leiju have some unknown past? Yu was happy when he saw it. Do you really want to know? Yes? 9. Okay. I'll tell you. Bang. Talk about your head. Lu Yu kicked Yu away. Yu lay on the ground again, staring at Lu Yu. You can kill me, but you can't humiliate me. As you wish, a gun appeared in Lu Yu's hand. You'd better humiliate me more. The person next to him looked at the two of them for who knows how many days, and his eyelids jumped violently. What's going on with these two people? Are they so familiar with each other? Lu Yu was too lazy to care about Yu. This guy was a bit crazy and not normal. He still had to think about how to copy him. Lu Yu looked at the woman in the distance. It was not easy to approach her. She was very distant. Could it be that she really wanted to sell her body? Lu Yu hesitated. At this time, Yu came over and lowered his voice. Lu Yu, do you like Lady Qingxiu too? What do you mean? I just asked if you like her. I have a way to get you close to her. Yu was proud. Lu Yu nodded after hearing this. I like her, so how can I get close to her? This is too easy, Yu Yu clapped his legs and smiled. The next moment, he shouted at the top of his voice. Lady Kingsu, someone wants to confess to you. In an instant, everyone in the audience looked over, including the woman who closed her eyes to rest, all looked in this direction. Lu Yu, your mother. Chapter 0398 My life is in danger, the tail is growing in front. Lu Yu really wants to curse. He just wants to chop Yu Yu, the bastard, to death with one knife. How can I step down if you do this? As soon as this thought came to Lu Yu's mind, he felt a cold gaze on him. Forcing a smile on his face, Lu Yu looked at the woman. Lord Kingsu, this guy is joking, he likes you. Huh? What do you mean by that? You don't like Lord Kingsu? Is it because you don't like her? Yu Yu looked puzzled. Lu Yu. Realizing that the woman's eyes were getting colder, Lu Yu smiled. How could it be possible? Lord Kingsu is so beautiful, elegant, and noble, how could I not like her? As he said that, Lu Yu kicked Yu Yu and successfully shut him up. The eyes of the whole audience were cast, and Lu Yu's back was sweating. The woman was still staring in his direction, which made Lu Yu feel very stressed. You, which galaxy group are you from? The woman spoke. Lu Yu wanted to cry immediately after hearing this. Okay, I'm going to ask for the address. My life is in danger. This galaxy. In desperation, Lu Yu said it. Oh. After she finished speaking, the woman closed her eyes again. Everyone looked puzzled. Is it over? Master Kingsu, won't you punish this guy? Everyone looked surprised. Lu Yu was even more relieved. Fortunately, it almost happened. After stepping on Yu Yu, Lu Yu looked unkind. Do you want to die? Say it. Woo woo woo. Yu Yu shook his head frantically. Seeing this, Lu Yu pulled out the shoe stuffed in his mouth. Lu Yu, your feet are so smelly. Yu Yu gasped. Lu Yu. Everyone around him, wow. Taking a deep breath to calm himself down, Lu Yu looked at Yu Yu. Do you want to kill me, kid? How can I harm you? I'm helping you, Lu Yu. Yu Yu's expression was serious. Think about it, if you can hook up with Lady Kingsu, you will get a Taisha realm backer. And Lady Kingsu is so beautiful, isn't she attractive? Yu Yu became more and more excited as he spoke, successfully attracting the attention of the entire square again. Lu Yu had already stood aside in advance, with an expression of indifference on his face. Yu Yu. Under great pressure, he looked at the woman sitting in the middle of the square. Lady Kingsu, I have no ill intentions, I am just praising you. The woman glanced at Yu Yu and closed her eyes again. Yu Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Seriously, Lu Yu, aren't you tempted? Yu Yu said in a low voice. Seeing this, Lu Yu sneered. Why do you want me to come up? Why don't you come up? If I were as handsome as you, I would have come up early. Yu Yu was helpless. When Lu Yu heard this, he immediately became energetic. I won't be sleepy when I say this. I deeply agree with your point of view. That's what I'm saying, brother Lu. However, although you are handsome, it's good to be a man, but it's not enough to just be handsome. There is another aspect that needs to be strong. Oh? Which aspect are you talking about? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 526. Of course, it's the dot of the word 2. Yu Yu was proud when he said this. When Lu Yu heard this, he was happy. Sorry, I'm the vertical line of the word dot. I don't believe you. Yu Yu was disdainful. Lu Yu laughed. Compare. Compare if you want, I've never been afraid. Immediately, Lu Yu and Yu Yu both went to the toilet. This scene attracted the attention of the whole audience. A burly young man shook his head. What's there to compare, little guy? What did you say? 2. Lu Yu and Yu Yu looked at the burly young man at the same time. Seeing this, the burly young man stood up. The tower-like figure was more than 3 meters tall, like a little giant. I said, what's wrong? Come if you don't agree, Lu Yu narrowed his eyes. Seeing this, the burly young man sneered. Okay. Suddenly, he appeared. This made many people watch the show. This should be a genius of the giants, right? It should be, and it seems to be from the golden giants. How can this be compared? This Lu Yu is embarrassed. There was a lot of discussion in the square, and even the woman sitting in the middle couldn't help but take a look. Soon, the three of them walked into the toilet. Time passed, and 3 minutes later, the burly young man walked out of the toilet first, looking lost. Immediately afterwards, Yu Yu came out in a daze. This is too big, is this humming human? The tail is growing in front. Yu Yu said to himself. Finally, Lu Yu walked out, looking helpless. Oh, it's really boring, I win every time. One by one, they are as small as peanuts, and I can hardly see them. Lu Yu said, looking at the two of them. Yu Yu didn't dare to say a word. The burly young man from the Golden Giants was even more pale. This scene shocked the whole audience. What the hell is this operation? The Golden Giants, all lost. Hiss. Under the gaze of countless people, Lu Yu returned to his team triumphantly. Lu Yu, you. Ahashi Leiju couldn't help swallowing. Is it really that big? Of course it is. Lu Yu nodded proudly, and glanced at Yu Yu next to him. Now you know, brother has defeated you from head to toe, right? Yu Yu didn't dare to say anything at all. Nothing to say. Seeing this, Lu Yu was satisfied. This is a victory that belongs only to men. No matter how strong you are, you have to bow down. Lu Yu just wanted to sing a song. The physical transformation of the divine bloodline is awesome. From head to toe, it's awesome. After being happy, Lu Yu began to fall into pain again. How can I copy? Lu Yu looked at the woman in the distance. If you want to copy, you must be in close contact. But, I don't have it now. A chance to get close to her. If I go up rashly, who knows if she will slap me to death. I have to think of a way. Lu Yu pondered. After thinking for a long time, a small mirror appeared in his hand. A replica of the Shenxiao mirror. Should I be able to get close with this? Never mind, let's give it a try. Lu Yu stood up and walked towards the woman step by step. The whole audience noticed Lu Yu. What is this guy doing? Everyone was puzzled. And Lu Yu had already come to the woman. Is there something wrong? The woman looked at Lu Yu, and Lu Yu felt as if his whole body was frozen. What a beautiful woman who keeps people away from her. Lu Yu sighed, and then took out the small mirror in his hand. Sir, my mirror seems to be broken. Lu Yu smiled. I don't believe you won't take it and check it out. As long as you give me a chance to touch it, I promise to copy you. Chapter 0399 Take a few steps and set off for the Great Wall. Touch her. Lu Yu is confident. Sure enough, the woman reached out. Bring it here and let me see. Okay. Lu Yu was immediately excited. The opportunity has come. But, his smile soon froze. The woman reached out, and the next moment, the mirror in her hand flew away, flew away. Lu Yu stood 3 meters away, looking at a loss. Sure enough, it's broken. Let me give you a new one, the woman said. The next moment, a brand new small mirror appeared in Lu Yu's hand. Lu Yu held the mirror in his hand with a bitter smile on his face. Thank you. As he said that, Lu Yu turned around. But, he was a little unwilling in his heart. I have already walked to the front, is it going to return empty-handed? No. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 527. Absolutely not. No matter what happens today, I will get it. Fight. Lu Yu gritted his teeth. The next moment, the breath all over his body was disordered, and he spit out a mouthful of blood. I. Falling to the ground, Lu Yu was breathing rapidly and blood was bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. What's going on? What's going on? Looks like he's going to die. I don't know how many people were in an uproar, and the woman immediately turned her attention to Lu Yu. Lu Yu felt a little excited in his heart. I'm already like this, you must come over to check on the injury, right? Is there something wrong with your health? The woman frowned. Yes, I have a physical problem, Lu Yu hurriedly spoke out. The opportunity is right in front of you. Oh, it turns out that he is not in good health. Send him back. He is not suitable for going to the Great Wall. The woman's words almost made Lu Yu choke to death on his own blood. I rely on not playing by the rules at all. Lu Yu panicked inside. In the distance, two people came over, obviously trying to carry him away. No. As a result, Lu Yu's body instantly moved 1 meter away and came directly to the woman's feet. Save me. As he spoke, Lu Yu grabbed the woman's jade foot with one hand. Copy. Lu Yu roared in his heart. Ding. Found something special. Stop being special, copy. Lu Yu kept repeating the instructions. Ding. Successful copying. Congratulations to the host for acquiring Teisha Realm combat skills, Teisha Realm law application skills, Saint level weapon, 1, attributes have been superimposed on red electric gun, superpower, Star Destroyer, Saint level, eye system, Kinxu's clothing jacket, source, Kinxu's clothes, source, lining, Kinxu's clothes underwear, source. The system sounded like crazy, which made Lu Yu sigh in relief. Finally, successful. Before Lu Yu had time to relax, he felt his hands were a little cold. At first glance, it turned out to be frozen. What are you doing? The woman was not wearing boots, and her pair of white and crystal clear feet were like the most perfect works of art in the world. And Lu Yu's hand happened to be grabbing it. Help, save me. Lu Yu once again forced out a mouthful of blood and let go without leaving any trace. However, a black handprint appeared at some point. Quiet. The whole place was quiet. Everyone was shocked by Lu Yu. This courage is too great. The woman's face was expressionless, showing no emotion or anger. This made Lu Yu feel even more uneasy. The next moment, a ball of icy blue light appeared in the woman's hand, blooming with terrifying power. Digging. It's not enough to dig trenches. I just touched you when I dug the groove. Lu Yu was about to explode. Without any hesitation, he turned around and ran away. With a hiss, Lu Yu turned into golden light and disappeared into the square. He wanted to run, but the woman appeared in front of him at some point. Why are you running? The woman looked at Lu Yu with a puzzled look. Everyone was equally shocked. Isn't this guy going to die? Why are you jumping around again? Lu Yu looked at the woman in front of him and forced a smile. I just suddenly felt better again. I took 2 steps. With that said, Lu Yu retreated a little further. Seeing this, the woman was silent for a moment. It looks like you don't need my treatment anymore. The teleportation is about to start. Don't wander around. With that said, She went back again. Lu Yu. People who eat melon? Is everything okay? Lu Yu was surprised. Yu Yu looked shocked. Dig Lu Yu, you are so awesome. You actually touched Master Kingxu's feet. Give me your hand and kiss it quickly. Saying that, Yu Yu pouted, closed his eyes and kissed her. As expected, it stinks. Oh, that's not right. Why is this smell so familiar? Yu Yu opened his eyes with confusion on his face until he saw Lu Yu's stretched out foot. How does it taste? Lu Yu looked amused. Yu Yu. Vomit. He retched directly. When Lu Yu saw this, he immediately laughed. Lao Se Pai is Lao Se Pai and never disappoints me. Seeing the envious looks of others, Lu Yu couldn't help but feel proud. Yes, Lu, am so good. So what if I touch it? Can you kill me? Feeling relieved, Lu Yu turned back to his team's position. This adventure has been very fruitful. Not to mention 2 basic combat skills and law application. The key is, a saint-level ability, and the blessing of a saint-level weapon. It's so awesome right away. Of course, there are also the inevitable tacky clothes. System, what does the word origin on the back of this dress mean? Source means the original version, the host. System explanation. This made Lu Yu deep in thought. According to this statement, doesn't it mean his? Lu Yu didn't dare to think about it anymore. The sin is getting bigger and bigger. If these clothes are exposed one day, I will really die. The entire super galaxy cluster is dead. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 528. Lu Yu was terrified and started to read the introduction of superpowers again. Star Destroyer, Saint-level superpower, destroying stars and shaking the sun, practice to the limit, has the power to destroy galaxies, cannot be used below the Star-Lord realm. Lu Yu took a look at the introduction, but what made him frown was, this thing actually has realm requirements. Host, the star source power in your body does not support the use of it. Impossible, the star source power in my body is dozens or hundreds of times that of ordinary warriors, so the realm requirements should also be reduced, right? Lu Yu was puzzled. Ding. Recalibrating, calibration successful. The host needs to reach the 3rd level of Tianyuan before it can be used. Okay, Lu Yu nodded. This is more reliable. The 3rd level of Tianyuan will not take long. After figuring out what he copied, Lu Yu felt relieved. At this time, the woman suddenly stood up. The teleportation array is charged, everyone get ready. It's coming. Lu Yu was excited. I saw a series of light suddenly pouring out from the ground, covering everyone. The woman even floated in the sky, looking at everyone below. I hope you will listen carefully to what I am going to say next. This teleport to the Great Wall is not like ordinary teleportation. In the process of crossing the void, you may encounter some strange existences. Do not interfere, and do not leave the protection range of the teleportation energy without permission. Don't look, don't listen, otherwise, life and death will be at your own risk. These words fell into everyone's ears. Countless geniuses nodded one after another, and Lu Yu raised his eyebrows. It seems that the road is not safe. There is something strange on the road to the Great Wall. Lu Yu narrowed his eyes. And the next moment, a crack was torn in the sky. Now, everyone follow me. Boom. The woman turned into a stream of light and rushed into the space, and everyone followed. Lu Yu glanced at the square and also entered the crack. Great Wall, I am here. Chapter 0400. See the giant again, build an ancient road. Great Wall, I am here. Without a trace of hesitation, Lu Yu stepped into the space crack. The next moment, his consciousness fell into a coma. His body seemed to be torn apart, and every cell was reorganizing. The pain spread, but quickly dissipated. When he opened his eyes again, Lu Yu had already seen the many geniuses around him, as well as Qingxiu, who was in the front. The brilliant white light enveloped everyone, and took everyone to an unknown direction. This speed was much faster than normal warriors. The laws of the universe clamp speed, but when traveling across the domain space, this law could be bypassed. At the moment, there was a turbulent flow of void all around. Everyone close your eyes. At this moment, the woman in front spoke. Many geniuses immediately thought of what they had said before, and they closed their eyes one by one. Yu Yu even threw a blindfold over Lu Yu, to prevent you from peeking. Put it on. Yu Yu looked serious. Lu Yu put a blindfold on him with his backhand. You should think about yourself first. After executing Yu Yu, Lu Yu did not wear the blindfold. He was curious, what could he see in the void? But in the next moment, the woman in front suddenly waved her hand. The next moment, everything in the outside world became blurred. Obviously, this was intentional. Yu Yu took off the blindfold and looked at Lu Yu with gloating. How could Lord Qingxiu give you a chance? Well, I can't see anything. Lu Yu nodded, and a golden light flashed in his eyes. Eyes of divine vision. The next moment, the layer of laws that blurred the outside world became transparent in Lu Yu's eyes. The void of the outside world came into view again. Don't let me see? I must see. Thinking of this, Lu Yu glanced at the woman. Good guy. Pink. Lu Yu was slightly startled. Qingxiu seemed to have a sense of it, frowning and looking at Lu Yu. For some reason, she always felt that she seemed to be seen through by this guy. Seeing this, Lu Yu immediately retracted his gaze. As expected of a Taisha strongman, he can detect this? Surprised in his heart, Lu Yu became alert. It seems that I can't use the eyes of divine vision to spy on those high-level strongmen too much in the future. After thinking for a while, Lu Yu sat down casually, looking outside intentionally or unintentionally. Outside, the space was flowing, and emptiness seemed to be the theme of the universe. Lu Yu could not see anything except black. This time lasted for a long time. Just when Lu Yu was a little doubtful about whether there was anything, suddenly, a little light appeared in the distance. What is that? Lu Yu immediately focused his attention and looked into the distance. The picture was quickly enlarged, but it seemed to be far away, and the space was a little distorted and blurred. But even so, Lu Yu still saw something clearly. Another giant. The kind of giant he had seen before. Looking at the burly figure, Lu Yu's heart was shocked. But what shocked him even more was, compared with those giants carrying stars on their backs, these giants seemed to be building something, building ancient roads. Lu Yu looked at a long ancient road behind them and was dumbfounded. Is this building a road? If these are really the remaining forces of the gods, why build roads? Go to the Great Wall? But the problem is, the gods have been destroyed. What can some remaining power do? Lu Yu was puzzled. It just made him slightly excited. The direction in which I am traveling is the same as the direction in which those giants are traveling. In other words, when the time comes, I will have the opportunity to observe these giants up close. Lu Yu couldn't help but look forward to it. Beside you, Yu Yu looked confused. Lu Yu, why are you always staring outside? I like it, Lu Yu responded casually, looking at the giants getting closer and closer, without paying attention. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu. Chapter 529. Seeing this, Yu Yu didn't care. You kid must have seen something, I'll watch with you. As he said, Yu Yu stared outside in the same way as Lu Yu. Seeing this, Lu Yu slapped him in the face. Pa! Damn, Lu Yu, why did you hit me again? Yu Yu was furious. At this time, a girl who had a crush on Yu Yu couldn't stand it anymore. Lu Yu, you are too domineering, aren't you? What does his domineering have to do with you? Hitting is love, scolding is love. Lu Yu, hit me again. Yu Yu accused the girl. Tell me, are you jealous of me? I. The girl was completely confused. I'm helping you, why are you helping Lu Yu? Seeing that she couldn't speak, Yu Yu became proud. Lu Yu, give me 2 more slaps. Pa! Lu Yu was not polite and slapped him twice. Yu Yu fell to the ground and lifted her hair, saying proudly. It's our family affairs, so some outsiders should stop pointing fingers, Yu Yu said. You two are bullying me. The woman was about to cry. The people around were also shocked. No one had ever seen such an operation. Lu Yu was quite calm about this. Yu Yu. His thinking is not on the same channel as ours, so what's so surprising about this? He looked outside again and could see that he and others were getting closer and closer to the location of those giants. Lu Yu waited quietly. About an hour later, Lu Yu looked outside again. Sure enough, in his sight, those giants were already quite close. Lu Yu could even see their appearance clearly. Their facial expressions were stiff, and their muscles were towering like dragons. There were runes with shining light engraved on them, driving them forward. A team of giants, there was no end in sight. The giants at the front were carrying huge stones. Lu Yu roughly estimated that each of these stones was probably no smaller than a planet. And these stones were eventually laid in the void under the feet of the giants. After hitting them with a giant hammer, they took a step forward. It seemed that the speed was very slow, but in fact it was only compared to the speed of Lu Yu and others. Looking at the scene carefully, Lu Yu frowned slightly. For some reason, he always felt that these giants did not seem to be alive. Their eyes were too dull and their movements were sluggish. It seemed that they were only driven by the runes on their bodies. This shocked Lu Yu's heart. Compared with living things, the dead are more terrifying. Just one look and you will know that these giants have definitely existed for a long time, and even some traces cannot be faked. And it is too amazing that some dead things can move for such a long time. In particular, the strength of these dead things is definitely not simple. Otherwise, how could they carry a star? Even if a Yuan Realm expert came, it would be difficult. Weird. Lu Yu looked around and only thought of these 2 words. He was even not sure if this was the work of the gods. While Lu Yu was thinking about it, suddenly, he caught something in his peripheral vision. A black shadow appeared among the giants. In an instant, the head of a giant carrying the stars disappeared. The 400th chapter, including this chapter, has a total of 868,000 words. If it is 2,000 words per chapter, the 400th chapter should be 800,000 words. But in fact, the author's chapter is not rated at 2,000, basically it will only be more, not less. So, don't say it's short. 5 updates a day, more than 10,000, not less. Such a hard-working author, don't give a small gift. Okay, that's it, everyone continue to read. Chapter 0401. What is that? The squid that has lost its happiness. The giant's head disappeared. Lu Yu was shocked and looked into the distance. He saw a headless giant suddenly kneeling down and falling to the ground. The runes on his body dissipated, and the mountain-like figure quickly turned into ashes and disappeared into the void. If Lu Yu hadn't seen this scene, he would even think that he was dazzled just now. What's going on? Lu Yu took a deep breath and tried to find the strange black shadow. But the black shadow disappeared. It seemed to have merged with the dark and empty universe and disappeared. This. Lu Yu's eyes were blank for a moment. He thought of what the woman had said before. Sure enough, something was wrong. Lu Yu glanced in the direction of Qingxiu. She seemed to have noticed something, and her eyes were fixed on the outside. Seeing this, Lu Yu silently retracted his gaze. In fact, he was still paying attention to the outside. Sure enough, it was only less than a few minutes after silence. The next moment, the black shadow appeared again. It quickly passed over the sky of the giant group. This time, the two giants lost their heads and fell to the ground. The runes on their bodies dimmed and dissipated, turning into ashes. And behind them, the other giants seemed to be unaware of anything and continued to move forward mechanically, paving the way. Lu Yu was shocked. Even with his divine vision, he didn't catch the true appearance of the black shadow just now. It is conceivable how strong she is. You can see this by looking at Qingxiu now. The woman has stood up and looked outside with a cold gaze. Others also noticed her reaction and became nervous. What's going on? Is there really something outside? I can't see anything, what is it? Oh my God, will we be in trouble? Panic spread among the crowd. Yu Yu couldn't help but whisper. Lu Yu, you can see it, right? Lu Yu was silent for a moment and nodded. Yes. Oh my God. This is too amazing. Yu Yu was surprised. Then take a look, what color underwear am I wearing today? Yu Yu looked curious. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 530. Read. You are too awesome. Yu Yu was surprised. Lu Yu's eyelids twitched. You took off your pants and farted. Huh? Sorry, my pants slipped. Yu Yu put on his pants with an embarrassed look on his face, while the girls next to him covered their faces. Lu Yu curled his lips and looked outside again. Lu Yu, what did you see? It's a terrifying sight, Lu Yu said. The scene outside is indeed terrifying now. That black shadow became more and more unscrupulous. The giants on the entire ancient road seemed to have become its food, and they were constantly plundering and killing. The giants seemed to know nothing. When one died, the next one stepped forward. At a glance, there is still no end in sight, as if there is an endless stream. This scene really horrified Lu Yu. What kind of being could create such a massive giant? In addition, why does this black shadow exist? Weirdness is revealed everywhere. When Yu Yu heard Lu Yu's description, he felt itchy. Can I see it? What do you think? Lu Yu became confused. When Yu Yu saw this, he looked embarrassed. Lend me your eyes. Crack. The next moment, Yu Yu flew away with an expected expression on his face. As expected, you can't bear it? I can't bear to leave you, uncle. Lu Yu wanted to curse. What's wrong with this guy? I'm going to give you my damn eyes, do you want it? When Yu Yu saw this, he sighed quietly. Hey, heartless people are always like this. Crack. Lu Yu slapped him again and stuffed him with a sock. Woo-oh. Yu Yu wanted to speak. Seeing this, Lu Yu snorted coldly and looked outside again. Outside, the black shadows were still carrying out massacres. At this moment, the light that carries everyone through space is located in the sky above the ancient road. Lu Yu couldn't help but feel nervous. If this continues, it may be really dangerous. At this moment, Qingxiu's voice came out. Everyone get ready, we may have to speed up. There was no expression on her face, and the moment she finished speaking, ice blue star power suddenly surged out of her body. The next moment, everyone suddenly felt a sense of space being torn apart. Lu Yu looked outside. It was obvious that the speed of himself and others had increased several times. Along with it, Qingxiu poured all her power into the star source. Obviously, this speed cannot be maintained for long. What made Lu Yu relieved was that he and others were far away from that ancient road. The black shadow didn't seem to have any intention of catching up. Lu Yu, are we saved? The socks in Yu Yu's mouth disappeared at some point. Where are my socks? Lu Yu was confused. Eat it. Yu Yu looked disgusted. Don't tell me, you want me to pull it out for you. Lu Yu. He just wants to dig holes. As expected of Wolong. You are still you, different fireworks. You haven't answered my question yet, are we safe? Yu Yu pointed outside. He could not clearly see the current situation outside. Seeing this, Lu Yu took a look and saw that the black shadow was still killing the giant. Safety. Before he finished speaking, Lu Yu noticed that the black shadow disappeared. The next moment, a terrifying impact came. Boom. The light was struck, and a pair of huge, planet-like green eyes came into Lu Yu's eyes. Safety, your uncle. Lu Yu yelled all over. Yu Yu, this guy, must be a crow's mouth. Whatever you say. Why is this black shadow catching up with me? Seeing the black shadow at such a close distance, Lu Yu's whole body stiffened. This black shadow is bigger than a giant. Just lying outside, Lu Yu couldn't see the end at a glance. A pair of eyes as big as a planet. His whole body was completely dark, and Lu Yu couldn't even see clearly what he looked like. The only thing that could be seen clearly was those green eyes filled with murderous intent. Roar. A sharp roar came out, and everyone covered their ears and crouched down. Damn. What's out there? It hurts so much, my ears hurt so much. Are you going to die? Countless people screamed in pain, with blood oozing from their ears. Lu Yu also felt pain and his blood was boiling, but it was still within the bearable range. To his surprise, Yu Yu was fine. Don't you feel any pain? It hurts, but I have a congenital defect that prevents me from feeling pain and pleasure. Lu Yu. Squid, I finally know why you are so sleepy. Why? Yu Yu looked confused. Because you have lost a man's greatest happiness. Lu Yu looked regretful. Seeing this, Yu Yu was silent for a while. Really? As he spoke, he silently hugged his shoulders and squatted down. No matter how much blood flows in the ears, it is not as good as the blood dripping from the heart. Lu Yu felt a rare sense of guilt when he saw this scene. It's okay. Since you have lost a man's happiness, then try your best to make a woman happy. Well, that's why I dragged you to the red light district. I wanted them to be happy. Lu Yu. That is work for them, and they are happy when they go to work.